Our food costs are rising twice as fast as in the United States of America, and now they promise to recycle a Trudeau-era rebate that won't even cover one trip to the grocery store, Mr. Speaker.
Not only that, but Pierre Poilievre even called the Canada Grocery and Essential Benefit a Band-Aid solution. Yet today, the Conservatives decided to fast-track the bill. Since when is printing more money while increasing the debt a solution when it doesn't even address the root problem, a conservative value? My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the Conservatives. My co-host, Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the Liberals. We are the Political Orphans. So the video we just played was from about 2 weeks ago when Marty Carney announced the Canada Grocery and Essential Benefit. Clearly, Pierre Poilievre wasn't for it. I'll play the full video in a minute. But today, the Conservatives decided to fast-track the bill, even though they called it a Band-Aid solution. It blows my mind. Isn't conservatism about decreasing the debt? Well, yes, that's my point. Your reaction is exactly my point.
Yeah, why are the Conservatives fast-tracking this?
That's a very good question. That is the question that I'm wondering as well. And I was just watching a video.
How can they fast track it? Do you just mean like they won't push back against it, or they'll allow it to be fast tracked?
They basically approved a motion today that will fast track it through the voting period, the committee. So they're basically just going to push it through. The goal is to have it done by I think they were trying to do it by Wednesday afternoon, like Wednesday 9. Bill C-19 is the name of the bill. Here is it's called the Canada Grocery and Essential Benefit. And it's just it blows my mind, because I was just literally just watching a video as I was waiting for the show to start, from one of the Conservative members saying how bad that bill was. Yet they unanimously voted for it. So in front of the camera, they're saying this is a bad bill. This is not going to do anything for Canadian. It's not actually fixing the root of the problem, like the food inflation that we're seeing. It's basically just printing more money, adding more to our debt. And somehow they fast-tracked it. Like, it's literally like they're taking us for morons. In the House, in the House of Commons, they're voting for it. Outside, they're like, oh, but that is a bad bill. Like, I don't know what I'm smoking or not smoking here. But here's CTV News, how they're saying that MPs unanimously approved Conservative motion to fast-track Liberal GST relief bill. So the Conservative put a motion to fast-track. They all approved it. In order to fast-track the GST bill, that will add, you know how much this is going to add? It's estimated by the numbers. Where are the numbers? Where are the numbers? The numbers are right here. So according to the report published Monday by the PMO, the measure, which was not included in the November federal budget, so you're adding another $12.4 billion over the next 6 years. That was not part of the budget. So that $70-80 billion budget that we just saw, add that to it over the next 6 years. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, what the hell is happening? The Conservatives are fast-tracking bills that will cost more money to Canadians instead of fixing the root problem of inflation, which is, you know, here's a video. I got a video right here. Listen to, this is Pierre Poilievre. So at the beginning, I played a tiny portion of a video. Here's Pierre Poilievre. That's his address he made about 2 weeks ago about this bill.
Solidarity. Why won't they agree with the Canadian people that we should get rid of all the hidden taxes that they've imposed on groceries? There's the Liberal fuel standard tax, which is 7 cents a liter on farmers, truckers, and those who bring us our food. There's the industrial carbon tax on farm equipment and fertilizer. All of this has given Canada the worst food price inflation in the G7. Our food costs are rising twice as fast as in the United States of America, and now they promise to recycle a Trudeau-era rebate that won't even cover one trip to the grocery store, Mr. Speaker.
Remove carbon taxes, that's a start. Like, that's a start. Remove the industrial carbon tax, that's a start. But that was 2 weeks ago, and today they fast-tracked the bill.
So I think for the context for the audience, it'll help to know exactly what the bill does. I'm just reading about it now, and just like in practical terms, it basically will affect your GST. It's a 10% increase to the GST payment that people get. Basically, it's a
here are the numbers.
It's a money gift. It's a money gift.
If you want to know the numbers, it would increase the credit that exists from. They're always using the family of 4, like 2 parents and 2 kids. You're looking at 1,100. Right now, it's about $1,100, and with this, it would bring it up to about $1,890. $1,890.
Okay, so $60 a month, maybe sounds give or take, because about $700, right? So about 60.
It's 800 and no, it's like 880 ish.
Yeah, okay, between somewhere
780.
Between $60 and $70 a month for a family of 4. Essentially, not much, right? Like, how much is that going to help your I'd say a family of 4, because if we're going to stick with the family of 4 thing here, what's the grocery bill of a family of 4? I'm going to guess $800 a month. Do you think? Family of 4,
bro, between
I just buy for myself, and
I eat for 2,
$400, $400 or $500.
So I eat for 2. My wife is a small girl; she's like 120 pounds. And obviously, my son's like 60 pounds, so he's not eating much.
But let's say you have.
But we probably spend $1,000.
Teenager.
I'd say $1,000 to $1,200 a month. Okay. That's what we should about pay, give or take.
Yeah. So okay. So $60 a month for that family of 4. Is it going to help? I'm sure. Okay, $60 $60. I'm sure it will allow them to buy an extra pack of ground beef or something like that. Great. I don't really see it doing a whole lot in terms of actually, giving any relief for inflation or high grocery prices. So, it's essentially it's not even close to anything. It's essentially, a rounding error in your total monthly bill. So, that's the benefit, and the cost is what? What did you say? 12 billion to the budget?
12.4 as per the parliamentary budget officer. He's saying that this Band-Aid solution, obviously he didn't call it Band-Aid solution.
Yeah, I would call it Band-Aid solution. That's how
$12.4 billion. Yet when it was estimated, that's another part that's funny. 2 weeks ago, when they first started talking about this, they were estimating that it would be around $11.7 billion. So over 2 weeks, it went up $700 million from 11.7 2 weeks ago to 12.4. That tells you how great they are at managing money. But the whole point I'm trying to make with this is that Pierre Poilievre literally just backed Carney's bill while complaining about it, saying that it's a Band-Aid solution. He called it a Band-Aid solution today. Then he votes to fast-track it to give Canadian relief. Like, this is what blows my mind. Conservatism's, like, if you look at conservatism, it's about getting your deficit under control. This is one of the biggest difference. Like, forget the moral aspect of being a conservative and being a liberal. They don't want us to spend as much money. They want to go back to a time where we have our money spending under control. We want to reduce our debt, reduce the inflation. Now we have a conservative party that is helping the liberals print more money, adding to the debt while calling it a Band-Aid solution. Like, this is, again, a bad episode of Black Mirror or The Twilight Zone for people that are older. But this is insane. And they're still going out there calling this bill bullshit, that it's not going to do anything, yet they unanimously voted for it. Like, they're really taking conservative voters for idiots. Like, they're literally taking them for idiots. It blows my mind that people are like, oh, yeah, that's the party we need.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you know, I don't really see I don't see why you needed to fast track it. Even if, you know, it's even if you like, it doesn't seem the kind of bill that needs to be fast tracked. It's not, even if their approach is sort of a pick your battles, right? Maybe they're thinking this really isn't that huge of an issue one way or the other. Let's save our powder for something else. Because, you know, one thing about the opposition party, it's more effective if you're not seen as opposing every single thing, right? If you allow some things to go through, I understand that may be a strategic decision, but I don't see any need why they should have, just from a political standpoint. Again, I'm personally not, like, I can't really get worked up one way or the other because it's not a huge issue to me. It's not a lot of money. The issue that I would take away is, if this is your solution to fucking inflation or groceries, like if this is a tiny part of a bigger solution, yeah, okay, I can understand. But I got to feel like this is the only solution and this is not going to cut it. I don't see why the Conservatives, from a political standpoint, would rush this through.
Like, listen to this. Listen to this one. This is the video I was just watching before I was waiting for you to show up. This is what I was watching. Listen to this.
You mentioned that the GST credit is not a lot at an individual level, but the PBO had a report out today that from a fiscal perspective, it's $12.5 billion almost, higher than what the government had said. Do you have concerns about the fiscal cost and the fact that there's been no plan as to where that money is coming from?
Well, there's no question that another $12 billion by the time this grocery rebate is complete. By the way, we had a federal budget less than 4 weeks ago. The ink is not even dry on that federal budget, and this is another $12 billion of unaccounted spending that is going to drive up the price. Every dollar spent by the federal government is a dollar out of the pockets of Canadians. And so we absolutely do have concerns about it. And those concerns are that the inflationary spending of the government is going to add more to grocery prices, add more to housing prices, add more to the unaffordability crisis that Canadians are feeling from coast to coast to coast.
She's the one that fast-tracked the bill. That woman is a Conservative MP. She's the one that fast-tracked the bill. That's why I'm showing this video. Like, if you look at the top, this is my comment right here on Work Canada Proud. I'm like, yeah.
How long ago?
That was today. That was posted literally today. That was posted an hour ago.
A month ago or something.
After they fast-tracked. No. After they fast-tracked the bill today, she released that video. We're Canada Proud, one of the biggest, somewhat conservative platform in Canada, is posting this like they're opposed, making it sound like they're opposing the bill, yet they fast-tracked it. Like, my comment is highlighted in blue. I just commented before coming here. I'm like, yet the Conservative just fast-tracked Bill C-19. They're really taking us for idiots.
Like, yeah, and you know, I want to make I want to make a correction to something I just said, where I was saying it's not really like it's not a lot of money. I was not really, bro. No. Let me hold on.
That's a lot of money.
For some reason, I'm like for some reason I'm sort of thinking like in American style dollars. Like, a lot of the news I've been reading is American, so when they talk about money, it's in the American system. $12 billion would not be much to like the American economy or deficit, right? Which is in the hundreds of billions. For some reason, I thought that 12 billion represents just only a small portion of our deficit. But then I looked it up. Our overall total deficit for the year is only like 70 billion. I say only.
That's what I said earlier.
7 billion, which means 12 billion is actually a large chunk of that. That's like 12 or 15% of the total deficit. I thought it was like 1%. So in that case,
it was not part of the bill. That 70 to 80 billion dollar deficit that they passed as the budget, this is not part of it. You have to add that new money to that spending bill.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I'm gonna track the "this is not a lot of money" comment, because it clearly is. I mean, in that case, that changes how I feel about it. Where I was like, you know, it's not a big issue for me to get, you know, make a big deal one way or the other. I would be opposed to this then, just because $60 a month, I'm all for helping families, don't get me wrong. But if you're gonna, you know, everything has to be a trade-off. Maybe it increases the deficit by a lot, but the benefit is actually a genuinely helpful one that will help families, you know, get off the ground or give them a little bit of a cushion. If that were the case, this might look different, but that's not the case. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm not a deficit hawk the way that, say, you are. I got a feeling like you and most conservatives are probably going to be like, do not want the deficit increase, period. I'm more of I don't want to increase for stupid or ineffective reasons. If you had a genuinely helpful benefit you were passing on to Canadian families, I might feel differently, but this isn't that. So for me, when I see a 12 billion increase, what it's costing us versus what we're getting is not worth it. And the Conservative Party should not be fast tracking this.
But it's even worse than that, and that's the point I'm trying to make, is that this is not conservative values. Keep on adding to the debt and adding to the debt and adding to the debt and printing more money, causing more inflation, when you can address the problem directly. Remove all the fucking taxes. You want us to pay to have more money at the end of the year in our pocket? Stop fucking taxing us. The average Canadian worker spends 42.3% of his salary on some type of government tax. Right. 42.3, almost half of the salaries of all working Canadians is gone. They were saying that you have to work until June in order to pay the taxes. Think about this. You work for free until June in order to pay the government's cut of whatever the fuck they want to do with your money. And now they're telling us we're going to give you back $12.4 billion to add to the debt instead of, how about you remove completely all carbon taxes? How about you remove all the taxes? GST, remove it. Get rid of it altogether. We're taxing us. Fuck off. Right there, that's something that you can remove that will have a direct impact. Instead, they want to print more money and the Conservatives are fast-tracking it. And then you have conservative platforms, one of the biggest platforms in Canada, promoting this shit from the woman that fast-tracked it. She's the one that called for the motion. And she's going after saying, this is a terrible bill. You fucking cunt. You pushed it. Are you fucking crazy? Like, what the fuck is happening here?
I don't know. I don't understand why that woman was going out, because the arguments she made against it were solid ones. They were sound arguments, right? She was saying, to me, it sounded like she was saying, here's all the reasons we aren't going to, or we're going to oppose this bill, or why. But
yes,
she lists off all these reasons to oppose it, and she says, and that's why we're going to fast track it. Like, what? What is it? That doesn't make sense.
It's the dumbest thing. And then you have the so-called conservative platforms out there that are promoting this. This is what blows my mind. They're really taking us for idiots.
Who's doing that?
So
I'm
clear.
interested to see what our guest is going to say about how our guest feels about this.
Yeah, that's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. Since you're talking about it, yeah, because there's I want to talk about another subject before he shows up. It should be quick though. But we are joined by Marty Up North to speak about Alberta independence and the Conservative Party of Canada. So he's joining us at 7:30 in about
10 minutes,
9 minutes. Yeah, funny enough, he's the one that contacted me yesterday, just like yesterday or 2 days ago. He's like, when am I going to be on your show? Because I follow him, he follows me, and I'm like, I didn't realize you were interested. So there you go. So he's going to be on the show. That's going to be a very fucking interesting one, especially that he's kind of in a war of words with Mario Zelaya right now. It is actually pretty hilarious. So
is it dry? The tea? Is it dry? Because I'm not. I don't know the influencer personal battle, or the conservative influencer inter battles. You know, I'm not up to it. So you'll have to catch me up on the tea. What's the dirt?
No, but I'll ask. I have the bill. I have the post, so I'm gonna show them. But before we do that, and you know, this is what's interesting is that love or hate the guy is gonna make for a fucking interesting conversation. And this is what the show's all about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love him, hate him, it's gonna be interesting. I got a feeling it's gonna be interesting. I've never spoken to him before. I see his content every now and then, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting conversation. But before we get into that, I wanted to bring this up because if you think that the fast tracking bill C-19 is kind of ridiculous, wait till you hear about this story. This is not really being reported right now. You know that mainstream media is not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But here is a story that's been reported by both Blacklock's reporter and the Western Standard. So let me bring that up. But this is a very, very interesting situation. So it's being the Western Standard is reporting that Health Canada has sealed vaccine injury records for 15 years. So as you can see right here, so you can go on the Western Standard News if you want to read this whole thing, but I will make a small resume for you. Basically what's happening is that the government's excuse. So basically they had been asked for access to information requests. It was taking 4 to 5 years. Like they've had requests in since 2020, 2021. They still haven't produced them because some of the documents had 30, 40, 50,000 pages. And the government is making excuses like they're not able to do it fast enough, blah, blah, blah. And the government's excuse right now is that they claim that because... but hold on. Listen to this part. So they're moving the program. So the vaccine injury... the VISP, you've heard of VISP before, the vaccine injury, vaccine injury program. They're moving it from a private company, Oxaro, back to Public Health Agency of Canada on April 1st, 2026. So their excuse is that they need to protect the records of the claimants for 15 years to ensure privacy and data integrity. That's their excuse as to why they're sealing. Oh no, but listen to this one. Listen to this. So the ATIP, ATIP is access to information request, right? So there's an ATIP backlog right now. And basically the government is arguing that because they cannot process the massive influx of ATIPs fast enough, the records are now unavailable.
Sealed for 15 years. So because
but remember we had Jason Levine last week talking about Sean Hartman, because as soon as I read that, I'm like, isn't it interesting that Sean Hartman's suit against Pfizer has been approved? And Jason Levine was saying last week that their defense, Pfizer has already announced that their defense is going to be to point their fingers at the government of Canada and saying they knew about the side effect, the possible side effect of the COVID vaccine. And this week, and somehow they're locking the records. They're not available now. They're sealing the records for 15 years. Well, that's a coincidence,
it's
right?
Like, it's kind of like weaponized incompetence, right? They're like, look, we're so bad at it. There's no way we're going to be able to get all those files done on time. So we'll just lock them up for 15 years. I mean, if that certainly provides some perverse incentives. If a government doesn't want to have the records open to public use, then just be so incompetent that you can't file them all, and you get to do that. I mean, I'm not sure I like the incentives that gives government for any issue, not just this.
But that is just around the time that Sean Hartman lawsuit against Pfizer's been approved. And we know that Pfizer's going to blame the government, saying, we told them. They knew there were risks attached to the COVID vaccine. And today we learned that they sealed the records. Like, call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, but goddamn, how many dots do you need to connect the two stories together? You don't need to be that bright to see a connection here. That's a whole lot of coincidence, isn't it? Like, give me a fucking break. I'm not even sure there's two. There's like, I don't know how to do the lawsuit, one dot. But this is the world in which we live. Right? This is just absolute insanity to me. We're so incompetent, like you said, that we can't provide the ATIP response fast enough. They're 4 or 5 years in the making. We're gonna need more time. So you know what? Let's just seal the records. We're gonna protect the information of our claimants. Yeah, sure. Cool. That's just absolutely insane. Do you want to jump to our guest right away? You want to take some comments? Up to you. I know our guest is there. Marty's there.
Let's take this one quickly. This one from from Glenn Babcock says, Nico, I enjoy your take on everyday issues, but your co-host has got to go. Bye-bye, Rob. Bro, you completely missed the point of the show. The point is we aren't going to agree on every issue. I am a common sense liberal, or at least I have been my whole life. I'm not sure where I stand right now, but I still perceive myself as left of center. So yeah, there's going to be some things that I disagree on with my very conservative co-host. If you think that's a reason to kick me off the show, then you're just haven't been watching the show very much, brother, because that's basically what this whole show is all about. Now,
Glenn, we need a retard on this show. I can't just be about all intelligent comments. We need some type of a retard here. He's our liberal token retard.
But
come on, I need to sound smart.
If you disagree, if you disagree with me, Glenn, by all means, throw it in a comment there. Anyone can say like, "Oh, this guy's got to go. He's a retard," and maybe I am. But sometimes even retards make decent points once in a while. So disagree with me on specific issues.
Twice a day.
We love when people disagree with us. You got to bring your A game here, brother. This isn't like out on X where you can just spout off into the void.
So talking about void, ready to go, Marty? Thumbs up, ready to go? Yeah. So we are joined by Marty Up North to speak about Alberta independence and how much he loves the Conservative Party of Canada. Mr. Marty Up North, how you doing, man?
Hey, good day, sir.
Good. If I thought you were going to antagonize me with that Oilers hat, I would have worn my Flames jersey. I almost thought about doing that. Almost. Jesus.
Every time I record with Alberta,
what a way to start what a way to start the show. That's not nice.
Jason Levine the other day saw that cap. I'm from Montreal.
From the get-go.
Yeah, Jason Levine saw the cap. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing wearing an Oilers?" I just like to piss people off. That's kind of what I do. But I love Alberta, man. So funny enough, you and I have never really spoken before. I follow you. You follow me. You reached out to me on like 2 days ago. No hello, no nothings. Like, how come I've never... When are you going to have me on your show? I'm like, I didn't realize I was supposed to, but here you are. So tell us, you know what? We'll start... Before we get into the Mario Zelaya stuff, because I'm laughing my ass off with you guys exchanging, ranting at each other. But before we get there, I want to ask you, are you a fan of Daniel Smith?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you kind of have to be a fan of Danielle Smith. I mean, I like the direction she's taken the province. I like the way she's taking it. I mean, I think she's doing it too slow. She's a very personable lady. I've met her many times, so I like her that way. And I like some of the things she's done for us lately. She's very, I mean, as much as she's a federalist, she's also a very strong advocate for democracy. So she's given us tools as citizens so we can, exercise democracy. So I mean, I like her. To be honest, I tried to hold her critical. I was very critical of her a couple of years ago, trying to get her to speed up things. And I realized she is so liked and so popular. You want to be on Team Danielle. You do, or at least you don't want to go after Danielle too hard because, people like her a lot.
Marty, so I've got a just quick follow-up question to that. So just for the viewers here and also myself, like I was telling Nico, I was like, I'm kind of, vaguely curious about this sort of internecine battle between you and whoever. I'm not sure about the disagreements within conservative influencer culture, so I'm sort of the outsider in this conversation, but I assume or I understand that you are a supporter of Alberta independence. How do you feel Danielle's handling that? And maybe if you could just give us a few seconds on, I mean, like I said, I know you support it, but just how you feel that movement is going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think hopefully we'll talk a little bit more about it, but I support it fully. I mean, I'm a 58-year-old Canadian who's worked across the country. Like I worked in Quebec, I worked in Ontario, I worked everywhere. And I came to a realization about, 10, 15 years ago, the Confederation was pretty broken. So definitely I'm a separatist at heart. And like I said, I think Danielle is not a separatist. She wants to go down in history as being the person who perhaps got Alberta a better deal. And I think she's bumping her head. I don't think she'll succeed. But what was the other part of your question? I mean, like I said, I do support her wholeheartedly. I really appreciate what she's done with us. Like, she gave us something called, the Citizens Initiative Act last year, which is the act that allows us to formally petition the government. Because, in the past, I mean, if you sign, how many times have you seen petitions online, right? Like, people circulate petitions and they're deposited in the House of Commons and nothing happens. So apparently, well, it remains to be seen, right? I mean, she could be pulling a fast one on us, but right now it looks like she's going to respect our wishes. If we meet the threshold of the petition, which is a tool she allowed, and we get the 200,000 signatures or whatever, she'll respect that. So, but yeah, otherwise, yeah.
Yep.
I like Danielle. I mean, what she's doing, and by the way, I got to say this, right? I do like what she's doing. I'm a member of the party, and I do go to the AGM, and I voted and did things like that. And then she's, I can't burn bridges on everything. I mean, she's taken the province in the right direction, and the referendum could fail. So I still have to have Alberta moving forward. Just like I also have to I can't burn my bridges with the Conservatives. And some people think I'm burning my bridges with the federal Conservatives. I'm not burning bridges. Well, maybe I am blowing up a few, but I mean, ultimately this could fail. And then I'm going to have a relationship with Ottawa. But what I've been asking Conservatives from the rest of Canada temporarily is, like, it's pretty heated in Alberta right now, and stay out of our politics for a while. Like, don't interfere with us. That's what we're, and it blew up in the last couple of weeks, and happy to speak about it, but it is what it is. Like, I don't want to piss off everybody. That's not my goal.
Yeah,
of course.
So,
except Oilers fans, I'm happy to piss them off all day long.
I should have put my jersey on. I don't have a jersey. What I was going to say though about Danielle Smith, I actually really like Danielle Smith until that MOU. Until that MOU, because most people don't read bills, they don't read MOUs. I read the bills, I read the MOUs, and that was pure WEF propaganda, WEF net zero agenda by 2050, carbon tax. That, to me, she declared herself as a federalist, and I've been very disappointed in Danielle Smith since that MOU, because yes, it's not worth the paper that it's written on. It's not legally binding. I get it. But MOUs are very good at exposing your intentions. Even if they're not legally binding, if you agree to it, that tells at least what you have in your heart. And I was very disappointed that she pretty much came out as a federalist afterwards. Like, ever since then, she has no problem saying that she's a federalist, and it kind of bothered me. Like, it seems to me, and I don't know for you as an Albertan, but as an outsider from the East that follows this very closely, it seems to me that she's more interested in becoming PM than she is in Alberta becoming independent.
Well, I'll come back to that. I'll just say one thing. Like, some days, Danielle's very hard to read. I'll say that. So some days I can convince myself that what she's doing is to become a PM. Other days I watch her and I can convince myself that she's all on our team and that she's got this. And then another day, like, she's very good at playing the rooms. But yeah, I'm of the same opinion of the MOU. I mean, the timing of the MOU was suspect, right? It came out a couple of days before she had her annual general meeting. So it was going to be a big gathering of Alberta Conservatives in Edmonton. And, at the end of the day, I thought, I'm with you. At the end of the day, I don't even see who won the MOU, right? Like, it backfired on Carney because he pissed off like Stephen Guilbeault and other people. And it backfired on Danielle. My theory on this is that both of them at that time had a bit of pressure, right? Like, Carney had, wasn't doing well in the polls. He had a separatist movement in Quebec, a separatist movement in Alberta, and somebody on his team went to Danielle because Danielle also had some problems at that time. She just finished a teacher strike in Alberta, and she had some unrest. So I kind of feel that two people, somebody on her team and somebody on Carney's team, is like, hey, let's throw each other a bone. Let's do this little bullshit MOU, and maybe we both get a win out of it. And I think they both got a loss out of it. Nobody talks about the MOU anymore. It's like, it's freaking, it's done. Sure. It did what it was supposed to do. And yeah. So yeah,
Well, Carney
I'm
has no
not,
intentions of
and at the end of the day,
drilling, right?
well, no, he doesn't, because, and I'll say this. I mean, I worked in the oil patch, right? I built, like, I was on a team that built Keystone Pipeline, right? So I know a little something about pipelines. I worked for TransCanada as a senior manager. Nobody in Alberta right now no investors don't want to come and build pipelines in Alberta. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They don't want to do it. And they can talk MOU all they want. They won't do it. You know why? Because the Liberals of the last 10 years just scared away investment, not just in Alberta. I mean, they scared away investment, across the country. So if Carney really, like, the MOU was like, yeah, if you find somebody willing to build, we'll reconsider changing the laws and stuff like that. He was playing this chicken and egg thing. Carney, if you're serious about kickstarting our economy, then be the egg or the chicken, but start it somewhere. Like, get rid of these bullshit laws and do something to attract investors. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's but and then that all still plays in what's going on in Alberta. I mean, like, Carney is the best proponent for Alberta independence that we've had in a long time. I mean, I thought Trudeau was good, and then comes Carney, he was even better. Like, people just hear it, people don't like him.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point that out. Is like, the shitty economy is not some natural disaster that's just happening to us. It's the direct result of actual policy decisions, whether it's laws, regulations, what have you, and it can be changed. It's so frustrating, because the solutions to our problems, they're here, and they're not even that complicated. We just need the political will to do it, and nobody fucking shows it. And I don't even see too many that show it. To be honest.
Yeah, I see it all the time. I'm 100% with you. Like, bring us. It doesn't work. So bring us back to when it worked. Bring us back to 2000 and whatever we were doing in 2010. How about we do that? And I'm not the expert. I have an idea. I mean, stop borrowing a ton of money for nothing. Get rid of these. Stop sending money overseas. Stop, shut down the immigration. Bring it under control.
Sort of impossible, ever-changing solutions to an impossible problem that can never be solved. That kind of shit. Yeah.
It's just a great agenda,
and promote people based on merit. Promote people based on merit instead of their sex. Like, let's just
this is basic shit.
Like, it's
but that's everywhere you go. You just have to read Values by Mark Carney, and you'll understand exactly what he stands for. It's no surprise to see that he's continuing what Trudeau started. He's here to finish what Trudeau started. That's always what I say about Mark Carney. But one of the things that I don't know that he saw coming is the Alberta independence. I think that was pretty easy to see. That's been going on. That's been under the radar for way too long, but now there's no way to avoid it anymore. But one of the things I was curious, because I posted a video the other day about how I was saying that under Carney will probably be the last prime minister of Canada as we know it, and there'll never be, if Alberta leaves, there'll never be another Conservative Party elected. And you responded, and I wanted to touch on that, because that was a very interesting post that you made. Well, very interesting comment. I'm going to bring it up. I don't know if you remember, but you started sharing the numbers about. It was actually clever. I never saw it that way. So the post was simply saying,
before you put it up,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I can talk about it before you put the numbers, right? All I did was a little, you take the election returns, the popular vote, the total votes that were, and so I looked at the total votes for Liberals versus Conservatives of the last 15 elections, and then I deleted all the votes, Liberal and Conservative, that were from the province of Alberta. You just delete them. So you basically, I'm modeling the election as if Alberta had not existed. And whenever you do that, in the last 15 years, Canada would have never had a Conservative government, because there's about 2 million votes in Alberta that just sway it that much. And so, if you scroll down, I think I had a little table underneath there. It'd be hard for the viewers to see it, but Yeah, it's not
No,
there.
I don't. No.
On that. Yeah, on that post, I just had the numbers, right? That said, like, for the last election. But I mean, don't distract it with that. Trust me, folks. I did the math, and so if you remove Alberta, you would never have enough Conservative votes to have a Conservative government in Ottawa. Now, vice versa, very interesting. If you do the same exercise and you take out Quebec, then you would never have a Liberal government. So if Quebec separated, there's so many Liberals in Quebec that you would never have a federal Liberal government in Canada ever again. So it's very interesting. And it kind of shows the voting tendencies are very different between our two provinces. But yeah, so then when you push that
further, I removed both of them.
Yeah,
because Quebec is like 70% Liberal if you look at the voting. So I'm like, you know what? Let's remove Quebec because there's a big talk of independence in Quebec, especially that we have an election this year. And Plamondon, the guy that's leading the PQ, he's very popular and he's a separatist from the get-go. That's what he's running on. So chances are it could happen in Alberta pretty much at the same time as Quebec. And if you look at the numbers, so Quebec has 78 seats compared to 37 in Alberta. If you remove Quebec and you remove Alberta, you remove them all, the Conservatives would have won the popular vote and would probably have a majority. They would have got 45 to 50% of the votes in 2025 compared to 35 to 40% for the Liberals. So basically, if you remove Quebec and you remove Alberta, the Conservative Party would, chances are, at least in 2025, they would have formed government, which I found that to be very interesting because there's almost twice, actually there's just over a bit over, no, there's actually twice, 2 times more seats in Quebec than there is in Alberta, and it's 70% by the numbers I was looking at. So
yeah,
if both of them separate, that would actually help Canada.
Sure. And then so to keep pushing on this, it creates an interesting argument right now. So the question I've been asking is, knowing this, if you're Carney, you would be in favor of letting Alberta go. If you're a Liberal, you let Alberta go. What they have to do is you have to weigh: is the finance, is the money coming from Alberta worth it, or is staying in power forever worth it? Right? Which one are you doing? If you're a Conservative, if you're Pierre Poilievre, there's an absolute reason he came to Alberta this weekend for their annual conference. I mean, they gotta play the big hug in, the big tent, and say we're all united, because he cannot afford whatever Eastern Conservatives cannot afford to lose Alberta. So there was a big love in, right, this weekend. That was what this. I mean, that's why there was some of the theatrics, because I saw it as that, and I just don't like that kind of theater from any party. I felt like we were being here. Let me backstep. I mean, the Conservatives have taken Alberta for granted quite a while. Like, Poilievre barely came here during the campaign. He did, but he barely comes. And then he loses his seats. And then what does he do? He parachutes back in here. Why? Because it's a super safe seat. So he takes a seat in Alberta. And then he's already said that in the next election, he's not running in Alberta. So like, we're sitting there going like, we feel a little bit used, right? So, and that came out to me. That's why I had some of those back and forths with some of these people, because it felt like the content creators were also coming in here and piling up on us. I'm like, dudes, like, just like, stay away for now. Go hold they should have held a conference in Saskatchewan or whatever, New Brunswick, somewhere else, but not here. Yeah.
We've got.
I'm just skeptical these days. You know, I've become jaded when I see a lot of this stuff. I'm yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Well, I was going to ask you. You kind of stole a bit of my thunder there, because I was going to ask you that exact question. Did you think that the national convention taking place in Alberta was on purpose, and having some of the biggest conservative content creators go out there as well? This to me was all, it ain't a coincidence. Like, come on. The fact that those two things are kind of happening separately, come on. That's all orchestrated, and there's nothing you can say, nobody can say that's going to convince me that this was not organized by the Conservative Party. They highly suggested to those people like, come on, let's be honest here.
Yeah, and I wish they were honest about it. I mean, if that's, we actually encouraged the Conservatives to do that last year. We're like, lean a little bit more on the influencers, lean a little bit more on the private podcasters, lean on us, right? Lean on us.
Yep.
And you don't need to hide that. Like, but that's one thing about the Conservatives. They're always worried about their appearance and, being politically correct. So rather than be super transparent, they do. I mean, yeah, like if they said we're coming to Calgary because we want to make sure that you feel appreciated and we're having a big party and, so-and-so is the guest appearance, all of us would have gone, wow, fantastic. Absolutely. Don't bullshit us. And you and I have been in this business and Rob, right? We've been doing this a long time. I can see when something, I agree. I can see when something like, it just doesn't feel right. Like and it's not just, I mean, we can sense it when the media does it. Like when the mainstream media picks on the narrative and all of a sudden, they're all talking the same talking points. Well, guess what, folks? Like apparently even content creators do the same thing. And that my what do you call it? The hairs got up on the back of my neck and I was like, something's not right. And I was seeing different tweets and stuff like that. So yeah, I felt it was very theatrical and staged and interfering.
Yeah, we've got a comment here from Sylvie. She says, and I was wondering this myself. Speaking of the convention, did Marty attend it? Well, she's called the Conservative Shill Party. I don't know if that's your characterization of it, but maybe. But did you attend it, and how? If so, how was it?
No, I didn't attend. So I tried to attend as a delegate, and I couldn't get in as a delegate. And then I tried to, I registered as a content creator, and then they rejected me as a content creator. Like literally said that I was too closely affiliated with the separatist movement. So I can buy that. I can agree to that. But it was actually, as an Albertan, it was very noticeable how many Alberta content creators were noticeably absent. They just weren't there. Like there was a handful that were very, very carefully picked, but otherwise, I could name. I have a circle of friends, and I could have named 15 people that weren't there. So yeah, to the conference itself, it was very curated, right? You had to be selected by your constituency association in order to go. So they had a vetting process there, and then they vetted media and other people. I mean, it was basically a very what we call, an insider event. There was not a lot of, I mean, I'm used to the local Alberta conventions that we have for our party. And they're like, man, it's $69. If you pay your $10 annual fee to the membership, it's $69 to go to the convention. You get a card, you can vote on policy, you can do whatever you want. And it's very open. And then I found out, so this was a convention to what's the word, like to re-acknowledge that Pierre's the leader. I get that. That's fine. But they also, I talked to people who were there. They played a little bit of shenanigans, right? Like having policy discussions and policy votes coincide with other events so that people had a hard time choosing where they're going to go. And I mean, yeah, no, the short answer, I didn't go to I didn't go. And then hindsight, I'm glad I didn't go.
But their pricing was ridiculous because I covered that last week. Like we're talking, if you weren't an insider, if you weren't part of the party and they let you in, it was like $1,800 for the 3 days. If you were part of the party, it was like $999. And if you were a kid between, I don't remember the age, I think it's 12 to 25 or 14 to 25. It's like $400. It's like $514. But it's the numbers are absolutely insane. Like, tell me the average Canadian that has $1,000 to spend on just a convention on top of the transport, on top, and if you're flying,
the plane ticket and the hotels,
it's easily $2,000. It's easily $2,000 for 3 days. Like, which average Canadian has that type of money right now, considering we pay 42.3% of our salaries to taxes already? Right, on top of all the inflation that we're seeing everywhere. The whole idea that the Conservative Party is the party of the blue collar guys, just the regular dudes, that notion cannot be acknowledged anymore. Like, you know, you always see like the liberals, similar to the Democrats in the US, they're kind of the university elites, the people that spend their life in school, that think they know better than anybody else. And then the blue collar guys, the guys that keep up this nation, that keeps this nation running, they kind of associate with the Republicans / the conservative, which they're not the same, obviously, but I'm just saying that is the idea normally, is that the blue collars are more conservative. That notion is completely gone. Like, there's no way you can convince me of that.
I mean,
it's insane.
No, you know, I mean, I'm not a scholar, but you know, I do listen. The scholars would say that the liberals are no longer liberals and the conservatives are no longer conservative. And I think, you know, based on what I know, I would agree. I mean, they've all become something else. They're all fighting for the center. And that's the other frustrating thing. And especially for me, I mean, I get accused of, you know, people say you don't decide what's conservative. And I'm like, no, I don't decide what's conservative, but I have a pretty important, you know, I have my own understanding of what conservative is, and I don't see to me the gang that came here this weekend. I don't consider them conservative. Like they're just based on the policies that they pass, right? I mean, they had the opportunity to pass some important policies to protect children and things like that, and they didn't pass them. And then they had the opportunity. So. Yeah. I don't want to get into all those details, but at the core, none of the parties these days are very true to their original foundation. So,
but
which
it
is
matters,
very frustrating
though.
for Canadians, and which is, yeah.
But they matter because that's what pisses me off. Like, I spent half of my time in the U.S. and I'm closer to a real Republican, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not a Republican. He just couldn't run for the Democrats, but the traditional Christian Republican, I'm closer to that in my political views. And then I come here in Canada and I look at the conservatives. They're liberals. They're right-leaning liberals, and they're trying to pass as conservatives. And I'm just, at least be honest. Stop lying about who you are, because you are not conservative. Like, I was just watching a video of Billboard Chris after that vote passed, after the vote was done, on being able for parents to have conversations with psychologists about their kids' trans identity. And even him, he's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, how did that not, like, how was that a split vote? It makes no sense. Even him's in the audience and he's like, what's happening here? This makes no sense. And he told me, I met with him about 7 months ago, and he told me, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I saw him he was in town for this event. He went to the convention. Yep. I saw him in a bar on Saturday night. And I posted a picture the other day. I saw him in the bar, and he was pretty disgusted with the convention. Like he's in the same, you know, he basically said that that conservatives abandon a very, very important cornerstone of conservatism. Like if you don't go out of your way to protect children, that's, you know, now you're on thin ice. That's his definition of conservative. I kind of agree with that. I mean, the only reason I'm not harder on that issue is because my kids now, you know, my youngest is 22, my oldest is 33. So I kind of, if my kids were 12 and 14 younger, then I would be really mad at the conservative. So I guess, you know, I'm just being pragmatic here. It's not my number one priority anymore. My kids defend themselves now, but yeah.
Yet, if you look at the U.S., they say that the reason Donald Trump won is because of his stance on transgenderism. That was the number one thing that made voter that could potentially vote Democrat normally say, hey, I can't vote for the Democrats anymore. They're way too woke. This is not my policies. And you have one here right now. Rob, the reason Rob doesn't consider himself a full-fledged liberal is that he knows women can't have penises. Like the little 5-year-old dude from the kindergarten cop had it right? Boys have penises. Girls have vaginas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this was the issue that really sort of...
kindergarten cop, isn't it? Yeah, or something like that.
Yep.
Yep.
That's exactly
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Yeah, a kid was fucking Nostradamus, man. The fact that they even had to say that. But yeah, no, I mean, to me, that was the one issue that made me realize, wait a minute, I actually don't agree with the consensus liberal position. And once that happens, the dam breaks, it allows you to look at other issues, I think, with more clarity than you otherwise would. That first issue, it has to be egregious for you to break that tribal mindset, I think. Because I think anyone on the left or the right, there's a point, they're going to give their side some leeway to be wrong. You don't break ranks just because you don't agree on one small issue. But there's always a point where if your party is so wrong on such an important issue, you have no other choice if you're going to be an intellectually honest person. And then once that dam breaks, you realize, oh, fuck, I actually disagree with these people on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a deal breaker, basically, right? I mean, yeah. I'm looking at the comments. There are some nasty comments, right? Like you were talking earlier about, if you come to the podcast, we don't all agree, and I agree. Like, boy, I did a space earlier this week. Do you follow WOG at all? Do you ever been on this? Anyways, it was called "Come Kick Marty in the Nuts," and so I put myself out there for like an hour. And
it was your highest ranked episode.
People come in the space and vent. Wow. Yeah. Hey, I take it as a badge of honor. I mean, if people get that upset with what we're saying, then that kind of means that we're
doing something right.
We're hitting a point. Yeah, we're doing something right. I mean, I don't want people. I was going to ask you that with me. That's no fun. So yeah, yeah.
I wanted to ask you exactly that, because you're one of those guys that people love to hate, and obviously you can see in the comment section. Some people really don't like you. Some people will like you. Like you're one of those guys that you either love or you hate, right? There's no gray area. Right. I tend to brush people the wrong way too, and I take that as a badge of honor. I'm not saying that you and I are the same, but we tend to piss people off. That I know I'm like that. How do you feel about that? Is that something that bothers you, or you couldn't care less if people really don't like you?
No. No, I'm not. I mean, one good thing actually for me is I live in rural Alberta, and I have really good friends, right? So when you're grounded and you have good friends, like I share this all the time. I have a core group of like 7 buddies that I've been hunting with for 30 years. So I'm okay. I can take a lot of abuse online, and then afterwards, at the end of the day, I'm hanging out with like really, really close friends, and even the less close friends, I'm generally in friendly territory. So I'm okay with that. But otherwise, pragmatically speaking, I think I'm just strong in my conviction. And if I rub somebody off, it's no big deal. Like I have my faith and I have my convictions, and I don't lose sleep. I sleep like a baby. You can ask anybody who knows me. I sleep like a baby. I don't go to bed with a lot of regrets. I just, and by the way, I think people need to know this, right? X is not the real world. Like it's interesting, and it's a bit of a blood sport some days, but I can turn it off, and then we have our friends. I mean, I say this to people, right? Actually, this is a true story. Like sometimes, I'll traveling somewhere. I'm sitting I'm sitting in Mexico on the beach, and you get to know somebody after a couple of days, and then finally they find out that I'm on X, right? And they'll say something like, well, what's your handle on X? And I'll say, don't go look. Don't go look. You like me right now. We're friends. We're enjoying beers. Continue to remember me for who I am on the beach, and don't go look on X, because X is a blood sport. And the other thing that a lot of people understand, and I like to explain this once in a while, like even what happened this week, right? A lot of it for me is my wife says, you just like to argue. Absolutely, I just argue something, right? Like arguing's fun. Arguing practices you for when the arguments are real. Once in a while, you have to be in a real debate. So practicing and pissing off people is the thing. And I also believe in the Latin saying, like in vino veritas, right? In wine truth. And so once you just sort of kick the hornet's nest, and then people show you their true colors. And I just do it for that, nothing more some days, right? So Mario might be pissed off at me, but we both showed our colors. And then there were other people that were pissed off this week, and I'm like, you just don't know what's going on. Let me explain it to you, right? It's not always there's not enough sarcasm and parody emojis on X to explain what's going on. But some of my friends who know exactly, and even in the comments, I could tell some people know what I'm doing. They laugh. They love it. They love it, right? And the other thing, I hate to say this, folks, but I'll admit I got to admit this as well. I'm trying to send out a real message. So like a lot of what I'm trying to do is very serious stuff. Like I want to educate people on whatever, separatism or the failed state of our economy or something like that. So I have a very serious message. But on any social media platform, there's these bullshit algorithms that are working against us. And so in order to, about 30% of my tweets are real. That's the message that I want to go. And then the other 60% of the time is bullshit. But I have to do the bullshit because if you don't do the bullshit, you lose engagement. The algorithm punishes you and the real message doesn't get out. So I haven't found a solution to that. Because if all I did was being the super nice guy and only did very factual stuff and only used this platform as an education, you'd never hear about me. So it's some people say you're content farming or farming for money. No, I'm not doing it for money. I have to unfortunately game the algorithm so that I stay on top. I mean, I go on, like, you guys know this, right? I disconnect. I do these long distance hikes for 10 days in a row, or I go hunting for 10 days. When I'm gone and I come back from a 10-day hike, man, it's like swimming upstream. Like to try and re-get engagement is like, holy shit, like you disappear off the face of the earth. So I'm being truthful to people, right? Yeah, we do some of the stuff we do looks like it's just content farming, engagement farming, but it's on purpose so that, I don't have budgets. I'm not the CBC, so yeah. And that's why I come with you guys here. I mean, we help each other out and get our messages out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the other side, man, is financed heavily. Like
the trick is you can do just like me, be an asshole all the time. I'm not a nice guy. I'm just an asshole. All my content's based on facts, but I am an asshole. At the end of the day, I think that's why it works everywhere, not just on X. I'm just an asshole. Yeah. Before we let you go, I wanted to ask you something because there's a common thread that I'm seeing right now because I rip into the Mario Zelaya, the Jasmine Lane, the Mark Nixons. I call them out all the time for their conservative shillism, how they will do whatever. I'm not saying they're getting paid, but having Pierre Poilievre call you on your cell phone or come on your podcast, considering he only does that with a very few people, that you're getting something in return for your very, very, very pro-conservative party content, and not to call him out when he votes for the liberal budget on November 7th instead of triggering an election, when he fast tracks a bill C-19 today that will just add $12.4 billion to our debt for a Band-Aid solution, yet that's what they do. So in my opinion, we have a uniparty in Canada. That's my views, and that's what I'm going to stick to. But one of the thing that really bothers me, and I saw that Mario Zelaya actually attacked you with that, saying that you burn bridges instead of building them. I'm curious to know what you think about that, because I'm tired of liberal light conservatives telling me that somehow I'm the problem because they're not fucking conservative. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I want a conservative party, not liberal light. If I called them out for what they are not, I'm not the bad guy here. I'm just the guy that tells the truth about what it is to be a conservative. Does that bother you, that you get told to not burn bridges? You should build them? Because that pisses me off. When
Nico,
people tell me that.
you're banding. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, I think it's you, because I can see Rob moving. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Were you lagging a little bit?
Okay, actually, you're clear now. Like, you try and ask that question really succinctly, and then I'll try and answer it.
All I was saying is that in the conversation, in the back and forth you're having with Mario Zelaya,
we might be done here. I live in the country, so it's probably my.
That's all good. We can end it there. We can finish right there, Marty. We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for reaching out.
Thanks a lot,
And
Marty.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
we'll keep in touch, Marty.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think he's
frozen.
completely
Some
frozen.
of this thing, I saw it's the one that's breaking up. So
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all good,
all
brother.
right,
No
cheers,
worries.
everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah, it's man,
You know,
it's great. It's nice being the one who doesn't have the shittiest internet connection on the show for a change.
It's pretty bad when I'm looking at you to see if he's lagging or not. I'm like, Rob is still moving, so obviously it's not me, it's Marty.
Yeah, well, he said he's out in the country, so I mean, it is what it is. At least it only happened at the end there. I think it was pretty good up until that.
Yeah, but that's a question I was really curious to ask him, because I am tired of being told that I'm the problem for calling out conservatives that are not conservatives, when the problem is that they're not conservatives. I'm just pointing it out that they're not conservatives. Yet I'm the problem. You need to build bridges, not burn them. That's what I was going to tell Marty, because I lived in the woods, like the woods, but you have to have Starlink.
Starlink, yeah.
Starlink's a better connection that I have right now in this city, 100%. I loved my Starlink. It's awesome.
Oh, do you have it?
Oh yeah, I had two. I had one at the house, and when I traveled, when I did 30 states in the past 3 years, right? We had a transportable. We have Starlink, and I had a plan that covered all North America. Wherever we went, we could just pop the antenna on top of the RV and pop out. We were connected on the internet.
Yeah. I've never used it, but yeah, everything I hear is that it's like it's quality.
Oh yeah, it works. It works well. If you're in North America, it works well.
Nice. But yeah, no, it was a good chat. I liked it. Yeah, I mean, the vibe I get from him is he seems like a pretty almost establishment conservative, except on the issue of Alberta separation, where because he's Albertan, he kind of has to be anti-establishment on that a little bit. But it seems like he's pretty much broadly speaking supports Conservative Party, and I believe Poilievre himself.
I believe so. I don't know Marty. I don't know Marty very well. I really don't. I follow people because they talk about stuff that I'm trying to keep up to date on. Doesn't mean I agree or disagree with them. I just follow a lot of people to see what they talk about. But he's the one that reached out. I was happy to have him. I thought he'd be.
It's always good to have people from different perspectives. I like that.
I'm always trying to see people I agree or disagree with. Like, I didn't know where I stood with him, but I'm happy he came on. So, yeah. On that note, just so you guys know, tomorrow we have another guest. We are joined by journalist Rachel Parker to speak about how she reached out to me a couple of days ago saying that she was banned from the Conservative Convention as a journalist. So she wasn't able to attend. They refused her access as a journalist. So she reached out to see if she could come on the show to speak about that. So tomorrow she will be joining us to speak about how, as an Albertan, she was not able to go to the Conservative Convention, although she wanted to cover it as a journalist. So we'll see what she has to say about that. 7:30 tomorrow, Eastern time.
Nice. Should be good. All right, folks, we're going to put a pin under there now. If you are new to the show and you want to support it, please consider becoming a member. You can do that through YouTube. You can also buy some coffee, which you will see a QR code in your upper left-hand side of your screen. And, of course, if not, another way to support us, just keep coming back and putting those comments out there. As Nico said, we've got a guest. What was it? Rachel Parker? Was that her name?
Yeah, Rachel Parker. She used to be for it became Juno, if I'm not mistaken, but she was I just can't remember. True North. Yeah, it was True North. That's who she worked with or worked for before becoming independent too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so you want to tune in, you won't want to miss that for sure. Other than that, folks, have a great rest of your night. We will catch you tomorrow night, 7:30, 7 o'clock Eastern time, as always.
Peace.
Peace.